We're back here on the Hunter Call the Wild, and today I'm showing you exactly how to spawn your very own Great One Black Bear here in Silver Ridge Peaks using the brand new bait barrels. I'll walk you through the full setup, tents, tripods, blinds, and bait barrels, and all the sneaky tricks you need to make that Great One Black Bear spawn quickly. Now let me know in the comments what your best bear kill is to date, and let's dive right in. Okay, so we are setting up here in Silver Ridge Peaks, which is the very best map to do the black bear grind on. Now I am re-releasing this video because I made an error in the first and I didn't show you the correct 4 lakes, and I'm very sorry about that. So what I did was I pulled the video. I am re-releasing it with the right info because it is very important to me that I give you good info. So step number 1 is to set up on these 4 lakes up here exactly the way you see them, the way I have it right here. Crazy enough, we all have the bear zones in the exact same place on these 4 lakes, so you can set up just like that, exactly where I have my tents and tripods. Put yours there as well. Super easy to do, and then you are set up for the grind. Now, you do want to also set up on this 5th lake. You're not going to be grinding it, but bears jump down here a lot. You are going to want to check it and shoot bears from here quite a bit, so definitely set up on that lake as well. Now, putting a tent right here is not easy. Let's head over there. So in order to get a tent on this incline, it took me a very long time. It can be very frustrating, but I do have the coordinates for 2 spots where you might have success getting your tent down, and I am going to put them on the screen right here. Now, once you get your tent down, it should stay, and I know this can be frustrating, but it is really important that you do get a tent down here in order to do the black bear grind. Now, bears drink here in Silver Ridge Peaks from 4 until 8, so when you are doing the grind, what I recommend you do is set the time back to 6 o'clock and grind from 6 until 8, and when the bears disappear, put the time back to 6 and continue grinding, and you shouldn't have to leave the map. You should be able to continue shooting those bears. Now, bears can be literally anywhere on the map, so you do have to go out and check your exteriors when you are doing the black bear grind. Now, for the purpose of this grind, we're going to call these 4 lakes the main hunting lakes or zones, and all of the rest of the drink zones are going to be considered exterior zones or exterior lakes. The next step is to go out and put bait barrels in really strategic spots and tents so that you can monitor them to help you quickly find your big bears out at exteriors. Now, we're all going to have similar zones, but they're not going to be exactly the same, so you might want to place your barrels in spots that are good for your particular zones, but I am going to share with you where I am putting mine to give you some ideas. Now, what you're going to need for inventory is this. Now, I would highly recommend purchasing a backpack. I know I've always hated on backpacks, but we're just going to use them to set up. And with the last update, they were made quieter. We're not going to grind with them. We are just setting up to start with. So the biggest one is the Summit Explorer 6000 pack. It is 20,000 in-game dollars, but you only have to purchase it once and then you can use it forever. Now, you are going to need the larger backpack in order to carry the bait barrels and everything that we need because they weigh 10 kilograms. The Summit gives you 9 extra kilograms with an increased noise of 9. Now, if you do own a backpack, this is how you put it on. So you can find backpacks in the store. And once you purchase it, in order to put it on, go to character, and then it will show here under backpack size, and just click over, and any of the backpacks that you own will show here. I only own the one, and now I have a backpack on. Okay, I just put everything in it, and I just made it under the maximum carrying capacity of 29 kilograms. So this is what I am carrying when I'm setting up for the black bear grind. So I have the Arzina 300, or you can use any class 7 to 9 rifle. The 375 is another really good one. And the Arzina comes in the high caliber weapon pack. Then you want the ammo, of course. And then I have the Odin. Then I do have the Distress Fawn Collar. I have the Apex View binoculars, and then I am carrying bait barrels, tents, and I am carrying blinds. Now, blinds are 6 kilograms. They do weigh the same as tripods, so if you prefer to use tripods, you can totally swap that out and carry tripods instead. Now, the bait barrels are what's crazy heavy. They're 10 kilograms, But if you carry 1 or you carry 8, they weigh the same. And that is the reason you want to purchase the same variation of tents or tripods, because when they are the same variation, you can carry 1 or 100, they're going to weigh the same, but as soon as you purchase a different variation, then you have to carry both of them separately and they will weigh twice as much. So stick with the same variation. Now I'm carrying 8 barrels because that is the maximum amount you can put down on any map at one time, in combination with the other feeders. So when I put these 8 down, I won't be able to put any other feeders down on the map, and that's totally okay. So that is my loadout for the black bear grind when I am setting up. Now, this strategy was thought up not by me, but by iBuyPremiums. So definitely go and show him some love. I will leave the link to his Twitch channel on the screen. He streams the grind pretty much every day. Definitely go and show him some love. Now, as you can see, I am wearing a backpack, so when I'm running, I am making a crazy amount of sound, and I would definitely be spooking animals out. So you definitely do not want to wear a backpack, except for these really dumb elk. But you don't want to wear a backpack when you are grinding, and off they go. Okay, so I'm gonna try right here. I know there are piles of bears around this lake and up here as well. So let's try that. And of course, once you put a bait barrel down, don't forget to fill it, or you're definitely not going to get any bears in. And I am going to put meat scraps in for $750, and you can do that remotely, which is delightful. Now, if you're wondering where to purchase the bait barrels, they do come in the new Game Feeder DLC that just came out a few days ago, and I am loving this new DLC. I do highly recommend it. So we're going to fill that one as well. Now, finding the perfect place to put a bait barrel is largely going to depend on where your personal black bear zones are, so we're not all going to have the same best spots. Now, when you are placing your bait barrel, just remember that when you are placing more than one, they do have to be at least 300 meters apart from each other. You cannot drop it closer than 300 meters from another bait barrel or feeder. You also want to be within view of a tent so that you can easily check the bait barrels. So I'm actually going to put 2 here at 2 Fawn because this is an amazing lake for bears. Now, I may change this later. This is going to be basically a trial and error experiment for where the best spots are, but just get those bait barrels in good spots, and then what you want to do is change it to black bear feed time. Once you start grinding, of course, they won't come into the barrel unless it's their feed time. And black bears feed from 20 to 4. So I want to put this down. I could have a problem because of the slope here, and I don't want to be too close to my tent. Ay, ay, ay. I might just be putting 1 down. Now, the purpose of the bait barrel is to save you time. It's to help you find bears in exteriors faster than checking all of their drink zones. There we go. Okay. So then I want to fill this baby up with meat scraps. Done. And this feeder is 255 meters away from my tent, so perfect. And then we have one down here, which is about 300 meters from my tent, so I will be able to check both of them from this location. Now, when you do set up in the top left corner, that is going to use 10 of your 16 tents. Then you have 6 tents that you want to place out at the exterior zones. Now, where you put your tents is largely going to depend on where your zones are, and we aren't going to all have the same zones. But I will show you where I have mine. I have 1 here because I have a pile of bears on this side of this lake. I have 1 on 2 Fawn. I may adjust it. And then on the Bending Forest Lake, I have 1 on both sides because there are loads of bears, and when you shoot them, it'll take you 1.5 years to go and pick them up, so I do have a tent on both sides. And then I do have 1 on the bottom coast. That is definitely where I am going to put a feeder, and that is where I have my tents right now at exterior zones. So wherever you do put your tents, that is where you want to put your bait barrels as well, because there's no point putting them there if you don't check them. Oh, and there is 1 more right here to check these 3 lakes. Now, I just want to mention that black bears are predators, so you do not need to find all of your drink zones in order to get respawns. It is not necessary. Now, it is a good idea to go out and see what is on your map, and the only way to do that is to discover all of your zones, but you don't have to do it in order to get respawns. But you could have a super rare black bear sitting on your map for all you know, and if you don't check, how are you going to find it? Okay, so this is where I decided to try my bait barrel on the coast here. We'll see how it does. Once you have set up your bait barrels and tents in exteriors, they can always be adjusted later if some of them are not in the best spots, but basically set them where you think they will be good, and if they don't end up being in a good spot, they can always be adjusted later. Then step 3 is to start shooting. Now I would start up on these 4 lakes. You're going to be shooting the females and all of the bears that are level 4 or smaller. That is the only thing you're going to be shooting off of these 4 lakes. Then you want to go out to the exterior zones, the exterior lakes, and you want to be shooting males only, levels 5 and up. So you can set it to black bear feed time, which is from 20 to 4, and go and check your bait barrels. And then after that, set it back to drink time, which is from 4 till 8, and check all of your black bear zones. Pumas will definitely spook bears away, so if you do see a puma, what I would recommend doing is shooting it and don't pick it up, because if you pick it up, it is going to respawn. Now, it's very important that when you shoot the females and smaller bears off of these 4 lakes, that you are shooting bigger bears from exteriors at the same time, because if you don't, what's going to happen, say you come out here and you shoot a bunch of big bears, but you don't shoot anything off of here, they will respawn and jump around where you have shot bears. They're not going to jump up here unless you have shot some bears up there. So you have to shoot from main zones and exterior zones in the same game session in order for the respawns to swap zones and for the big bears to end up at the 4 main shooting lakes. And once you've shot a bunch of big bears out here and you've shot all the small stuff off of these 4 lakes, when you come up here and check and you have all big male bears, then you can just start doing your rotations and just rotate on these 4 lakes only. That's it. Definitely come down here and check for jumpers at this lake, and I would check there once a rotation. And when you start to see females or small bears start to appear on your 4 lakes again, it's time to head out to the exteriors and shoot big bears once again. So start by setting it to feed time, check the bait barrels first, and then set it back to drink time and continue looking if you haven't found enough bears that way. Big bears, that is. Now, unfortunately, bears feed in the dark, so you are going to have to go back and get your night vision binoculars, the Gen Zeros, in order to check the bait barrels. So their feed time is from 20 to 4, so I am going to set it for 0. 0:35 will do. Let's go see if we put our bait barrels in good spots. And look at that, I just put my Gen Zeros into my inventory. I did have room, and you know what? I don't need my backpack anymore. Soon as I have put all 8 barrels out, then I add the night vision binoculars in, and we are still under 20 kilograms. So now I'm going to go into the cache, go to character, and go to no backpack, and accept. Backpack is gone. Now, you don't have to use bait barrels in order to do this grind. It is just a fun way to hopefully find those bears at exteriors faster. But if you can't afford bait barrels or you don't have the DLC, you can definitely do this grind without them. See, look at that. I had a bear at the feeder, and a mountain lion has spooked it off. Come on. Now, I know it was working because I have 98%, so they have fed from it, not a whole lot, but it is working. Okay, so if you find that the bears are not coming into the barrels, what I would recommend doing is a couple time changes. Now, it can be expensive. You want to definitely do this in a tent because it is 25% cheaper to change the time in a tent than in any outpost. So if you actually just put the time back by 1 minute, that makes it this time tomorrow. So do that, and then have a look at your bait barrels. So this one has 93%. So they are definitely feeding there. This one has 95, that one's working. Now, if you still have barrels that say 100%, they're probably not in good places. Let's have a look. So this one here, we're gonna move that one. No one is feeding there, so that one's getting moved. This one's at 99, slowly but surely. Might need to be changed. This one's at 98. That one is 100, so we're gonna move that one as well. So just check your barrels, and if after a couple time changes during feed time, bears still have not fed from the bait barrel, it is time to pick them up and put them hopefully in a better spot. And look at that. We have a level 6. I don't know what's behind it. And a 5. We are going to be shooting both of those. Beautiful. Now, my barrel over here, it's hard to see. It's at 95. Okay, we're going to have to go over there and get a little closer to see what's going on over there. But first, we're going to shoot these 2 bears from the bait barrel. Just makes life so much easier. Beautiful. Okay. 256 meters. I'm gonna 0 to 300. You know what? I could use the angler scope. I don't have it. We can live without it. Okay, so 256 meters. I'm 0 to 300, so my shot is going to register a tiny bit higher. So, move. I need more ammo. Oh, we got him. Oh, we got him. We got them both. Yes. And I am going to have to go grab the angler scope. Guess I'll do that right now. Now that might not fit into my inventory. Let's see. It's half a kilogram. It's not going to fit. So I don't need the moose collar. It will fit. Look at that. And I'll save that. That is now part of our inventory. Okay. So we'll throw the angler scope on. Much better. Now before we go pick up those bears, let's go check out this other feeder. It's at 94%, so it definitely is getting used. Okay, so I'm actually gonna move this barrel because I just can't see it, and that is no good. So I'm gonna have to move it closer to the lake, unfortunately, because I don't have a tent, but I can... Ooh. Oh, it's a female, so doesn't matter. We don't want to shoot any females at exteriors. Can't see anything. There she is. And she's out of here, but that's totally okay. Oh, I can't pick it up right now. I'm gonna have to grab a backpack, but I will do that later. Look at all the bears at the bait barrel. Unfortunately, they are all female and a male. There it is, just spooked out for some reason. Oh, they're alert. There's a mountain lion around. But yeah, these bait barrels are awesome. There they are. Oh, they're drinking. But the bait barrels are awesome for pulling bears out to easily check your exteriors. Just gotta find good spots for them according to your zones. Now, when you're checking your bait barrels, if this is what is happening, they're bringing in only females, then you definitely want to pull that bait barrel up and put it somewhere else because you want it to find your males, not your females. So start out by shooting all of the females and level 4 bears and smaller from these 4 lakes, and at the same time come out here, check your bait barrels during feed time and your drink zones during drink time, and shoot all of the male bears level 5 and up until such time as you have nothing but level 5 and up males at these 4 lakes. When that happens, then you can just start grinding these 4 lakes. You don't have to go out into exteriors until you start to see either females or a pile of small bears. Then it's time to head out to exteriors once again. But remember to shoot the small stuff in the females at the same time that you're shooting big bears so that they will swap spots. Now I do have a hotspot map showing you where all my zones are. You won't have exactly the same zones, but they will be very similar. Let's have a look at that right now. So this is where all of my black bear zones were before they were reset a couple updates ago, but you will have zones in very similar spots, but they're not going to be exactly the same. But if you see a spot where I have piles of bears, that is a good spot to check for your zones. Now the reason over time you're going to start seeing small bears and possibly even females jump up here is because bears love to bounce. When you shoot them, sometimes they're going to bounce out to exteriors and the exteriors can jump up to here. They like to bounce a lot. So what's going to happen throughout the grind is you'll grind for periods of time at these 4 lakes, and then you will start to see small stuff creep in. And then when that happens, come on out and hunt the exteriors, find those big bears. I had a few mythical bears hiding in my exteriors when I was doing my last black bear grind. And you know where they were hiding? They were hiding right at this lake, right at the corner. I had 2 mythicals in one zone. You know, I had 3 bear zones before they got reset at this one little lake. And I had another 8 mythical hiding right here. And those are definitely big bears you want to get up to your main 4 lakes. You want those in your rotations. Now you should be shooting between 8 and 10 bears a rotation when you are grinding these 4 lakes. So if you notice that number is dwindling and suddenly you are getting fewer bears to shoot up here, it's time to head out to the exteriors and find some big bears to shoot. You're going to be going back and forth during your grind quite a bit. Most of your time you are going to be grinding up here, but you will be spending a fair bit of time at exteriors as well. That's just how the black bear grind is. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is set it to black bear drink time. Now I am just starting my black bear grind, so I am going to have lots of females. Let's see what is up there. I did shoot some of the females off yesterday. Let's change it to 6 a.m. and let's do a rotation. We'll make it 6:30. Okay, so I just came into this tent. Then you want to run down here. I do have a few tree stands, but there's actually a female. There she is. So we want to shoot her. And there's another female in this zone. I don't know if we'll get both of them at the same time. Okay. Seriously? Got her. We got her. 2 females just went splat. Perfect. We're shooting all the females. I should have got into the tree stand. I didn't even think about it, but we're okay. You can shoot 3 animals without deleting the zone when you're not in a hunting structure, and the 4th kill will delete the zone. So they overlapped a little bit in here, but our zones are totally safe. So there's our first female, and you're gonna make some serious cash on this grind. Predators pay the big bucks. Now it is super, super important that while you're grinding, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to all 4 of these lakes, shoot all the small males and the females, then we're gonna head out. We're gonna change it to black bear feed time, and I'm gonna check all of the barrels. Now when I come over to this lake, what I usually do is come in at the outpost and come down and check completely around the lake. You can have bears here. Zones can be right here, here, and down here. And the bears are gonna jump around onto these 4 lakes. We have 2 females that need to be shot. So I do have pickup tents for both of them, and I can go to this tent and shoot across, and I can go to this tent and shoot across if need be. So I'm not gonna worry about a hunting structure. We're only shooting 2. 341 meters. Okay. Now we do have a pickup tent, so we're gonna hop over there and pick them up. Now elk drink at the same time as black bears do. They both drink from 4 till 8. So while you're doing the black bear grind, you're gonna see a pile of elk. You may have to shoot around them, but if you have any trophy Rocky Mountain elk on your map, you may very well find some sweet trophies while you're doing the black bear grind. Okay, so I picked those females up, so now I'm gonna fast travel to the really difficult tent to put down. So I always fast travel to this tent, because you can see all of the zones. No bears there. We have a female, and that's it. Now, if you have no bears here at all, and you just don't think they're spawning in, the first thing you can do that is free is just exit to the main menu and come back. That will sometimes get your bears to show up in their zones. And if that doesn't work, put the time forward by 1 minute. This often does work. It is expensive. You definitely want to do it in a tent because it is 25% cheaper than changing the time in any outpost. So we're gonna do that to see if any more bears will show up. And it can make bears disappear too, and that's what it just did. No, it didn't. There she is. Okay, but just because I have 1 bear here right now doesn't mean when I come back I won't have 4. There's a certain amount of bears, usually 10 to 12, that are gonna be on these 4 lakes, and they're gonna jump around, their respawns are. So you're gonna have a different number of bears at each lake each time you go there, and that is nothing to be alarmed about. That is totally normal. Now, another thing that I do when I'm trying to get all of the females and small bears off of these 4 lakes is I will count how many that I shoot off of these 4 lakes. So say I shoot a total of 6 small bears and females combined, I will make sure when I go out to exteriors that I shoot at least 6 larger male bears. Because if I shoot less, I will definitely get a female back here, and that is not what we want. Now, the respawn swapping spots, they have a 50-50 chance of swapping, so you may have to do it a few times. It's not necessarily going to work on the first try, so definitely bring your patience. You may need it. Okay, so now we are going to go to this lake. Now, it doesn't matter which tent that you fast travel and shoot from to start with, because, well, I'll show you why. Okay, so I fast traveled into this tent. I have 1 female over there, 2 of them. So we're gonna shoot those 2. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna fast travel to this tent, pick up the 2 kills. Then I'm gonna turn around and see if any bears have spawned in here. If they have not, I'm gonna exit to the main menu and come back so that nothing will then be spooked, and shoot any females or small male bears that appear in this zone. That is how you grind 2 zones on the same lake. So I just wanted to show you these 4 main shooting zones up close. So once you're done grinding and shooting the females and the small males off of these zones, you want to head out to the exteriors, set it to feed time For black bears, check those barrels, shoot all the big males, then I would change it back to drink time for black bears, which is from 4 till 8, and also check their drink zones. You'll want to find as many big males as you possibly can and shoot them at the same time you're shooting whatever you don't need up here so that they will swap zones. And that is how you do the black bear grind. And if you did enjoy the video or learn anything at all, definitely go ahead and splat that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, share the video, and leave a comment down below. Let me know what your best bear kill is. And as always, thank you so much for watching. And I'm going to recommend that you click right here to watch me hunt the super rare of my dreams from a feeder at level 17.